Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Yvonne Msemembo. First, national news. President Jakaya Kikwete has responded to an appeal of assistance by Dar es Salaam flood victims who were tenants and has ordered Dar es Salaam regional government authorities to treat them equally with their landlords. Here are the details. During a visit at Mabepande on outskirts of Dar es Salaam, where owners of houses destroyed by floods will be given plots, President Kikwete also commended preparations which have been made for the victims of the area, including installation of necessary infrastructure for water, roads and health facilities. Following the President's directive that all flood victims should be treated equally, some donors have also responded by making more contributions to support the victims of 600 families with more than 1,800 members. Confederation of Tanzania Industries, CTI, and Small Industries Development Organization, SIDO, have warned that new power tariffs will increase inflation now at 19% and seriously affect the country's economy. The warning was made during a joint meeting held in Dar es Salaam and attended by members of the two organizations of manufacturers and small and medium entrepreneurs in the country.
As you know, inflation in this country at the moment is at 19%, so that's high. This will add to that extra cost. It will become a challenge to how to absorb that cost and be able to compete as well, because we're opening our markets with SADC, with EAC, so we have to be able to compete effectively with that. One of the advantages Tanzania had was our power tariff is slightly lower than our neighbors, which is Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. But it is not cheaper than, say, South Africa. So while we may have had a competitive advantage, but then we have to say we have many competitive disadvantages against Kenya and so on. So this was one advantage, and if we take it away, then what else are we left with?
Several Dar es Salaam residents have warned that the decision by Energy and Water Utilities Regulatory Authority, EWURA, to endorse Tanzania electricity supply company TANESCO to raise power tariffs by 40.29% will continue to aggravate existing hardships in the country. Here's more on the story.
Reacting to the decision announced by EWURA yesterday, they said claims by the authority that the new tariffs will have no impact on low-income families were unfounded. They noted that the new tariffs will force manufacturers to raise prices of commodities due to high operational costs and therefore affect ordinary people, most of whom are poor. EWURA endorsed a request by TANESCO to raise power tariffs by 40.29% instead of 155 in order to offset operational costs, and the tariffs will come into force with effect from this Sunday.
Muheza district in Tanga region has been without power for at least 7 days, and some residents have accused the Tanzania electricity supply company TANESCO for its failure to find a viable solution to the week-long problem. Here's more on the story. Speaking to reporters, Muheza residents, particularly the business community, said the lack of power has undermined their social and economic activities. At Kicheba village, some farmers said they are being forced to walk 30 kilometers to Tanga City to get services of flour mills and also to charge their mobile phones. Tanga TANESCO regional manager Samuel Makalam said the problem was due to a transformer which blew up and that efforts were underway to replace it. Dar es Salaam flood victims staying at Ubungo Maziwa temporary shelters have urged the government to expedite its plans to move them to designated settlements. Here's more on the story.
They say continuing to stay at such camps make them look like refugees in their own country, while others complained of lack of clean and safe drinking water. During a visit to the camp, journalists witnessed the flood victims undertaking various activities including cooking, while others were attending a health clinic set up at the camp and children were playing around. Head of the camp, Mwajuma Magwiza, expressed her satisfaction on the humanitarian assistance provided, but was concerned over behaviors of some people drawn from different places affected by the floods.
Surface and Marine Transport Regulatory Authority Sumatra has called on truck drivers without employment contracts to call off the plan and not to take their vehicles and abandon them along the roads. Here are the details. Speaking in Dar es Salaam, Sumatra Director General Ahmed Kilima said abandoning vehicles in such a manner is tantamount to crime, and that instead of engaging in such a sit-in, they should resort to negotiations with relevant authorities to reach a compromise. He called on Tanzania Drivers Association to stop its planned strike from next Monday, as the issue of employment contracts for truck drivers is under discussion, and the association should extend its cooperation to relevant authorities. However, some truck drivers have said their strike would go on as planned on claims that both Sumatra and the government have not given priority to the long outstanding demands. Police in Arusha region say an alleged chronic bandit hunted for killing Detective Constable Kijanda Mwandu at Shangarai area in Arumeru early this month has also been killed in a fire exchange with police. Here's more on the report.
Arusha Regional Police Commander Tobias Andengenye said police received information that the alleged bandit was being treated by a traditional healer at Olarashi village in Arumeru district. He said last night at around 10 o'clock, police went to the boma of the traditional healer, Anna Loshirani, and that today the bandit, whose name is Pokea Kaya, alias Kaunda, came out of the boma and started running, but was shot dead following a fierce fire exchange with police who were chasing him.
Some unscrupulous agents of subsidized imports in Ludewa district, New Njombe region, have been selling the imports, including fertilizers and seeds, contrary to regulations, rules and procedures laid down by the government. Here's more on the story.
Iringa Regional Commissioner Dr. Christine Ishangoma, who is also in charge of the new region, says some agents have been closing shops, while others cheat on the types of seed they sell by changing the real names. Dr. Ishangoma, who has been on a visit to Njombe and Ludewa districts to inspect development activities, was addressing a public rally at Mlangali village after visiting some input shops where she witnessed malpractices committed by agents of the inputs.
Ngorongoro Pastoralist Council in Arusha region has allocated this year 400 million shillings to sponsor more than 960 students from primary to university level. Here are the details. Council Chairman of Mteu Ole Shaudo says the focus will be on completion of 3 classrooms at Mbarwai's secondary school, which started in 2000 in order to have high school students, the first of its kind in the district. Mr. Ole Shaudo, who is also the school board's chairman, was receiving a vehicle for the school donated by Ngorongoro Conservation Area Authority, NCAA. Handing over the vehicle, Acting Chief Conservator of Ngorongoro, Park Shedi Kiambile, called on the Pastoralist Council and leadership of Mbarawai Secondary School to use the vehicle to mobilize Maasai youth and sensitize them on the importance of education as key for development. And that's the end of the national news. The African news is next after the break.